Time for a third entry on 10 bad songs by good bands. In my endless quest to explain what being a realist is, I'm looking at different viewpoints. I want to point out some songs that I think are pretty rough from bands I do think are good. I'm not saying any of these are the worst songs by each band or worst songs in the last few years. I'm just saying tracks like these are not up to the caliber of the names associated with them. If you haven't seen the first two videos, you can find links to them in the video description and pinned comments. This is not a ranked list, just going over some songs that I wish would have had a little more time to cook or were never put in the oven to begin with. Finally, I'm using this mic because my camcorder is dying, and along with that, the audio jack input for it is messed up, and my shotgun mic completely died. That's what I get for using old equipment. You know how these videos work. Let's get to it. I think Rise Against is great. I've been a fan for years. They sound great live, they always pack a punch, up until 2025 with their most recent album, which had the laziest motivational song ever with Nod. I never would have thought I'd make that accusation for Rise Against either. A band that drives home social injustice and fighting for rights made a song with the hook, Nod if you understand me. Yeah, fighting the system with a slight head nod, that'll work. It seems so passive and anticlimactic. You don't rise against with a polite gesture. It also doesn't help that the track layering and recording sounds off in the instruments. For the die-hard Rise Against fans, this one had to have been a major disappointment. Not if you understand me. So it's part bad radio rock, part lazy defeatist attitude. I know 2025 was rough on most people, so Rise Against really could have rallied up some fans, but wow, this just had everyone sitting back down and nodding off to sleep. I understand many were not happy with 2023's Life Is But a Dream. I at least found some good moments and tracks in it. What I did not find enjoyment in is the Black Ops collaboration Magic, which might be Avenged at their most phoned in. I get that the music video was a big part of the tie-in for the game and this collaboration, and the song was meant to be a big part of that. All that doesn't mean much if you are not aware of the lore with Black Ops over many years. But if the song was good, then it could still be enjoyable, right? Well... both guitar tracks are crushed and muddied, and M. Shadows, God bless him, has still worked with what he can on his vocals. It's a shorter Avenged track at under 4 minutes, but it definitely feels long as there is little variation. One of the best comments I saw for this was when the video posted. This is like when Metallica fans heard Saint Anger for the first time, right? It's that reach for Avenged Sevenfold fans, myself included, to try and find ways to defend this. I mean, it's hard to find the positives. From the mix to the execution, it would have been better to just put Black Ops footage to an old Avenged song and call it a day. You know how Rivers Cuomo worked with AJR in the 2010s? Well, it must have rubbed off on him, because on the Black album is a song called Piece of Cake, which might as well have been put out on an AJR album. I don't mean that as an exaggeration either. I truly mean you could have put Piece of Cake on an AJR album and no one would have thought that it was not AJR. Weezer stopped being Weezer for an entire track to cash in on electronic pop rock cheese. It's sad when you are the worst song style on Weezer's Black album, a regrettably bad Weezer album. The endless lyrical masterclass of do-do-do-do-do-do-do and She Cut Me Like a Piece of Cake. Oh, all to a bad drum machine and a glimpse of Weezer swinging wild trying to make anything they can work and hope for the best. It's not even the worst Weezer song either, but at that time it shows how they were absolutely trying to cash in on fads and get attention while AJR's quality and cover songs were the thing. You get one or the other. You want something else? Go back to the 90s. Weezer fans wept. I know I'm going to get backlash for this pick, as many 3 Days Grace fans are happy with the 3DG2X lineup and both singers are making people happy, but the song Apologies identifies all the problems I see with this current project. For starters, Adam and Matt's vocals are wildly different in octave, tone, and needed auto-tune. One singer has a lot of auto-tune and the other does not need it, and you can really tell on a song like this. You can especially distinguish it during Matt's segments where he's rattling off some pretty lame lyrics. The writing is not great.
Caffeine, nicotine, amphetamines running through my bloodstream. To my problems, I call them keys.
The track is about feeling so far out of control to ever be loved. You're just worthless, and all you have left are apologies and bleh. Maybe it's just not for me, and I've gone on about how I was disappointed with the latest album, and this song really proves why, but I know people love it. I mean, Loudwire loved this. So if you love apologies and cheesy "I'm so awful I can't be loved" lyrics and disjointed mixing for vocalists, 3 Days Grace has you covered. So you know the mastermind behind Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness? Well, roughly 30 years later, he decided to take a Casio keyboard and play clown music. And not even the funny clown music either, but the creepy, scary clown style. Does that sound too mean of me? I promise it's accurate. On the sprawling 3-act rock opera Atom, yeah, that's what it's called. In that rock opera is a divergence from rock and even coherent songwriting. Hooray is the last thing I would shout while listening to this forced oddball song in an attempt to be weird and quirky for the sake of rock opera.
Giddy up and up, right off the page.
There is one positive note I can put out about the Smashing Pumpkins, and that on current tours, they do play a lot of the older hits again, and they understand that's what many fans want to hear. Thank God that Billy Corgan started realizing that. You know, not everyone wants to hear the soundtrack to a clown slipping on a banana peel onto a giant floor mat keyboard while all these other weird things are happening around it. That's what this soundtrack is. I don't know, I just feel that's not what's going to really grab those fans that sang along to Tonight Tonight from the 90s.
So tell me why can't this be love?
I want to talk about what arguably could have derailed Van Halen and the Van Hagar side of history if not for so many great songs on 5150, but the lead single from that album to introduce Van Hagar almost blew it. The edge and charisma of David Lee Roth is not going to be there. People understood that. But the tonal shift in everything from songwriting to execution felt tame for Van Halen on Why Can't This Be Love. The rest of the album had great songs, but the lead single wouldn't even be classified as butt rock.
Tell me why can't this be love? Tell me why can't this be love?
Chorus is 80s montage cheese. It's almost perfect for a Saved by the Bell clip of Zach and Kelly riding in a convertible while that song plays. Van Halen, best guitarist in the world, taking a back seat for some synth keys in a lame commercial song. For the record, there's a lot of Van Hagar I think that worked back then. All I'm saying is that this song was a choice for the first single or to even include on 5150. Can't love this at all. Side note, I'm aware Van Halen 3 exists. Picking a song from that, though, isn't even low-hanging fruit. That's fruit that fell off a rotting tree and is laying on the ground. Come on now. Queen being one of my favorite bands ever does not exclude them from the discussion, as even members of Queen have gone on record listing the songs they loved, didn't care for, and admitted to being insane for making. On the infamous Hot Space, which arguably had Queen at their most disjointed, is the song Cool Cats by John Deacon and Freddie Mercury, who have both written timeless classics outside of this genre mashup that sounds like anyone but Queen. The track also has a lot of falsetto. Not saying Freddie Mercury can't pull that off, I'm just saying hearing Freddie only do falsetto for several octaves higher to an R&B reggae yacht rock groove was not what I think of when I think of Queen's legacy. This track got a lot of love on TikTok roughly 40 years after being released, almost as if it was a long-term troll from Queen. This is the song that got viral love. Another one bites the dust? Don't Stop Me Now? No. Cool Cats. I mean, I guess it could get a younger audience into other Queen songs, so there's a benefit, but I'm stretching to make this song sound better than elevator music cheese. I debated whether to put a home recording B track of a man just goofing off making music at home on the list, but as it is distributed and made public by one of the most inspirational musicians ever, I feel Beans is worth pointing out. Beans, the magical song. It's Kurt Cobain and it's just plain wrong. There, that was my attempt at first grade poetry. I wish I had a time machine so I could go back to myself in the first grade and tell my younger self that this is what I do for a job now. I'm convinced Kurt Cobain knew how to crap post years before home internet access because that's what this is. One goofy, potentially drug-fueled song where Cobain sings about eating beans and drinking wine and being heavy. That's literally it. Even as a home recording demo track, the pitched vocals and guitar plucks are grating. The track is under 90 seconds also. Why was this saved? Why did Kurt Cobain keep this as if it were a legacy worth handing down? How was he not embarrassed 20 minutes after recording it? Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit. Maybe this is an anti-capitalist look at gluttony and excess, to the point that if you are weighed down by your own vices and all you have is the cynical voice reminding you of what you started. I'm just kidding. It's about eating beans. That's it. Here we go. For those of you who are going to make the jokes of Motley Crue not being a good band, I promise they once were. I mean that too. Many years ago, they really had something special, but the last 10 plus years have not been kind to the Crue. I don't know if there's a more apt song to describe how bad Motley Crue is struggling for relevancy than the band putting out Cancelled. Aging rockers with a long list of accusations and confessions and extreme past behavior trying to complain about cancel culture. The jokes write themselves.
You might get canceled. Call me trash, burn down my castle. Then they arrest me, lock me up, put me in shackles.
I don't even know if Vince Neil and Six were aware of the statements they were making, or that this was a serious statement at all. It was just a group of old rock stars regurgitating complaints people their age make on Facebook. It doesn't help that the track itself is lame and the vocals are terrible, and it sounded dated the day it came out. The song Cancelled embodies everything a drunk uncle would shout about today's culture at Thanksgiving by someone who absolutely represents a washed-up Motley Crue fan at the same time. Megadeth's self-titled release has a metric ton of solos, but it also had one thrash punk style song where Dave Mustaine proved he does not care in the most hilarious way possible. It's one thing to sell an apathetic edge in your song, but it's another to sound like a 13-year-old scratching into a notebook that you hate everyone and everything. This is the latter, and it's coming from a man in his 60s. If that's not enough to sell it, add the word mom to the end of most sentences in this song.
I don't care 'cause this life is mine.
Mom.
I don't care, you don't like what I say.
Mom.
I don't care and I won't obey.
Mom! I do like the groove, and it's a good thick track and sound, but the lyrics are hysterical when you think about Dave Mustaine grumbling about all the things he doesn't care about. To his mom.
I don't care when the truth is a lie.
Mom!
I don't care when the road gets tight.
Mom!
I don't care if you live or die.
Ma'am! This song was a single to highlight the advertised final Megadeth album. This is one of the notes Dave Mustaine is going out on. I'm aware of the Ride of the Lightning cover, but that's a cover song, so I'll save that for another video. My point is that maybe some of the writing on Megadeth albums isn't always as strong as the die-hard thrash fans would love to claim. Also, someone is grounded for talking back to their mom like that.
I don't care if our hope is dead.
Mom!
I don't care if I'm not your class.
Mom!
I don't care, you can kiss my ass.
Ma'am! Please remember that just because I think a song is bad doesn't mean I think the band is bad. Also remember, it's just an opinion, so it's really not worth getting that angry over. I'm sure some of you will anyway. Let me know what you think a bad song by a good band is in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this, because it does help the video channel a lot, and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Finally, here's some animal footage. So I'm back in the office, and instead of helping me write and record and edit and fix equipment that's breaking down, these two are snoozing on the job. To be fair, they do help me with a lot with moral support. However, I do wish they were a little more hands-on and willing to step up a bit and help fix things. Then again, dealing with a dad who does this for a living, I can't really blame them for wanting to sleep all the time.